Accessing archives. Login accepted. Holographic imaging activated. Engaged.
Welcome to Trail Zen mountain biking, where we can make anything run new again. I'm your host, Budget Prime. This channel is dedicated to the pursuit of fun on mountain bikes, while disconnecting from the matrix and jacking into nature at full send. Old Dick has developed an unhealthy obsession with older bikes. Let's join him as he restores yet another fossil.
The boost gauges work, bro. Hell yeah. This is another marketplace find that I picked up for $90. This is a 2001 Trek Multitrack 700. As far as I know, the last steel frame that they made, because it was a lower end, the 700. It's got steel bars, a steel fork. That's why it's so much more skinnier compared to the Rally Route 66 that I picked up that was all aluminum. Much girthier frame than this one. This one's pretty skinny. I've been slowly going through and shining up some corroded parts. Not a whole lot needed to be done to it. It was in pretty good shape. Only had one owner. The guy was like 70-some years old, and he bought it brand new back in 2001, and he just doesn't ride anymore. Not that it looked like he rode very much. I mean, the chain does have some wear. The tires have a decent amount of wear, but not an insane amount. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and replace this front tire with a WTB all-terrain. It's a 700C by 37. This is actually a 700 by 38, so it's pretty much the same width, but these tires are pretty much clapped out just age-wise, even though there's still a decent amount of tread on them. They're just old and dusty. Time for some replacements. Alrighty, tires on. This is complete dog poop. I'm going to take this apart and take a look at what the fudge is going on with these bearings in here. They were a little galled, the races were, but the bearings look pretty good. There was no corrosion in it. It just looked like the race had just been beat up a little bit. Cleaned it up a bit and re-greased it with grease that isn't 20 some years old. I'm going to go ahead and assume that that's never been serviced. So that would have been 23-year-old grease in there. And now it sounds fantastic. No grinding. So let's go ahead and throw it back on. Whoops, I missed. Alright, we're good now. This rim is so out of true. I'm probably going to take it to the bike shop. This is, I think, beyond my skill level. Maybe, possibly. Okay, I was able to get it trued pretty good. This tire is just all over the place, but the wheel itself looks pretty good. There's something inside the wheel making that noise. What it is, I have no idea. Very strange, though. I mean, I can hear it rattling around in there when I go like this, but when I had it apart, I didn't see anything, so I don't know what the hell it is. It's spinning much better now than it was about an hour ago, and that's a win-win. I'm going to shine up this rear V-brake here with the flits. Let's see how she looks when we're done. I hit this with the steel wool and some spray detailer just to get the bulk of the corrosion off, and I'll use this to shine it up. I'm not looking for perfection. I just like it to look better than it did before, which this stuff seems to do a pretty good job of that. I'm trying out a new Bluetooth microphone since my voice is one of those voices that just doesn't carry a distance, so I always sound very quiet when I'm more than a foot away from the camera. So hopefully this sounds okay. If not, oh well, I'll just move on to something better. Alright, let's see what this looks like. Hell yeah, that looks a hell of a ton better, man. You can see the difference between the side I haven't polished yet and this side, and that's quite a difference. There's a few spots that I missed here, and then I'm going to go ahead and shine this side up as well. Okay, we've got our V-brakes nice and shiny. So I'm going to go ahead and try to do this crank by hand here, and we'll see what this looks like once I'm done. Leave it in the same spot so you can see how it looks now and after. It definitely looks better, but there's some spots here that I could probably make look even better. Not sure how much better this area is going to look. See how it turns out, but I'll do that later. Right now I'm just trying to go over everything for now. Okay, I did get a little bit further than I was expecting to tonight. I found out that the flits can actually polish paint, so I went ahead and polished the frame everywhere. I polished that the other night. I got this area done today, this area done, all this down here, the kickstand, this half of the crank, the V-brakes, front and rear are both done. The seat clamp is done. The gear shifter is mostly done. I still got the other side to do as well as the other side of the crank. I still need to clean up the derailleur as well. I also got the rear wheel off. Was able to shine this up pretty good. There's damage here. There's only so much I can buff out of that, but this looks pretty good. The rim is now looking fantastic as well. Got the spokes done. I got the hub done. Now I knew that this was an issue when I first looked at the bike. You can see the play in here, so the whole wheel was kind of going like this. I'm gonna have to disassemble the hub, clean up the bearings, make sure there isn't too much damage on the race. I have a suspicion that it should be fine once I get it apart to look at it. Still need to clean up the gear set as well. And there's a bunch of stuff that still needs to be done to it just to polish her up. So far, looking like almost a damn new bike. I'm digging it. Grips are getting replaced, obviously. These are just clapped out and crusty. She looks fantastic now. Coming along nice, and I should have that wheel done in the next few days. I did do this wheel the other day, shined up that hub, the whole rim, and all the spokes. Hopefully my audio doesn't suck too bad. Okay, I was able to, gotta make sure my microphone's on this time because it wasn't on last time, but I was able to get this apart real quick. The bearings look okay. This race looks amazing. This one has got a little bit of galling. You can see it, so I'm gonna file that down a little bit and smooth it out. It almost looks like a stamp. It doesn't look like it's damaged, but it probably is damaged because I highly doubt they would stamp the race. We're gonna smooth that out with a file and then sand it down.
Bluetooth is connecting.
Oh, okay.
Bluetooth connected.
Oh, okay. I was able to shine this up. I don't feel any burrs there anymore. It's actually pretty smooth. Obviously, this is going to have to be replaced down the road. I'm not worried about it right now, so I'm going to go ahead, grease up this hub with some fresh grease, and repack these bearings into it and get this back together again. Alrighty, out with the 20-year-old grease, in with some fresh grease. I did not get this taken off because I don't have a tool that'll fit it, so I'm going to have to find one of those down the road. If I run into issues with this, right now it seems to be working fine. I'll know when I actually get it out take it out on a test ride, but these bearings with some fresh grease sounds so much better. Hopefully I'll get 20 years out of this grease like the original grease, although I don't recommend that. So now I'm ready to put the tire back on this sucker, get it on the bike, and take it out for a ride. I haven't even had a chance to take this thing out on a ride yet because I've just been busy and I wanted to get these things done before I even humored that idea. Tire, mount the bike, hopefully be able to take it for a ride in the next few days. That sounds a hell of a ton better, man. So before, this rear wheel was wobbling like this because the hub was loose, so I couldn't even true it. I started kind of looking at it. I think I did a pretty good job, even though that hub was terrible, because she looks pretty damn straight. I don't think I'm going to mess with it anymore. I need to finally adjust this rear brake now that I've got her all straight and whatnot. I still got to take these brakes off, clean up everything internally, lubricate it. They do seem to be working fine, but I'm still going to take it apart and lube it all up. But for now, it's looking good. I think we're good right there. So I still got to go through and lube up the rear brake cable. I already got the front cable, lubricate the derailleur cable, lubricate the front derailleur cable. But to be honest, everything seems to be working fine so far. I did have, you can kind of hear it, it like kind of wants to skip. And there's an issue back here on this barrel adjuster. I don't seem to be able to do anything with it. I may end up having to replace the shifter cable if I can't get her dialed in just right, because you can hear it not wanting, there we go. It's like just not quite right. Yeah, see, it's not going down all the way. I'm looking at this derailleur hanger here and it looks bent as a mofo. Once I get that tool in here, I'll be able to adjust this. So here, let me show you. That is definitely not straight at all. So when I get my adjuster tomorrow, I'm going to go ahead and check this to see just how off it is before I even start to mess around with adjusting it. because that would just be foolish. All right, so I think I'm done with it for tonight. I've got all the metal polished up on it. Actually, you know what? I completely forgot that I still have to polish up the other side of this crank. Go ahead and do that now, since I still have her up here on the stand. Oh yeah, you're gonna look much, much better. Let's buff this polish off. I may hit this again, just to kind of make her shine a little bit better. I think we can make this shine just a little bit more. Instead of 1 coat of shine, we're gonna do 2 coats of shine. See, looks better. Not a huge difference, but I can tell the difference. Maybe it's just placebo effect. Either way, it was necessary. There we go. Extra shiny now. Now officially, all the metal on the bike has been polished. The frame's been polished. The bearings have been inspected, cleaned, and repacked with grease, front and rear. I'm not even going to venture into the crank. I'm gonna leave it until it becomes an issue. That's pretty much where I'm at with it. I'm really liking these older Trek models. I wouldn't say they're vintage just yet. I mean, maybe they're considered vintage, but they're pretty well put together. Everything works like it's brand new with just a simple tune-up. I'll get back to work on her tomorrow. I got my derailleur adjustment tool. This hanger is basically bent in all the ways, so I'm not even going to bother trying to adjust this until I get this straightened out. I have never worked on one of these types of derailleurs, but it's got some kind of weird pulley thing going on here. Hopefully this doesn't get too complicated trying to remove. It's about to get interesting. You can see it here. Oh joy. Looks like there's a circlip in here, and I just popped that out, and this whole assembly should come off. We're about to find out. Naturally, I don't have any snap ring pliers down here. Might be able to just get her off with a flat blade screwdriver like so. There we go. Just got no room to pull it the rest of the way out, but yeah, there we go. 1 circlip removal, and like I suspected, this should not pop right out. Got what appears to be a spring under tension in here. This should be fun lining back up again. That is quite a spring, and I'm hoping that this isn't pressed in here, which it might be, because I don't see anywhere that I can grab onto this for purchase or removal. I don't see anywhere on here that I can grab onto this to unscrew it, so I'm going to assume that that's pressed in there. I may have to straighten this girl the old-fashioned way. Just need to find a way for me to get this on here. Problem is, I don't want to damage any of this, because this is what it swings on. That may be all I've got to do option-wise. This sucks. I mean, I guess this is what happens when you're dealing with cheaper derailleurs. That looks pretty straight that way. Basically, at this point, since I can't use the tool, I'm aligning this shaft here with the axle, both at 12 o'clock and 9 o'clock. I don't really have any other option at this point but to do it that way, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I'd say that's a match at 9, and now a match at 12. Refirm. Okay, at 9 o'clock it looks pretty good again. 12 o'clock we're looking good. Okay, so you can't really adjust one axis without messing up the other a little bit, but we're pretty good now. I'm damn near lined up perfect with the hub and the axle here. Just imagine 2 lines going this way. It actually is a little off. So this is what happens when you drop your bike on your derailleur. The hangers were designed to break so it doesn't damage your frame, which means they're very susceptible getting out of alignment. It's either going to be softer or more brittle. All right, we're good on both planes there. Now the fun part begins of realigning this thing back up. So it's pretty easy to find the hole here. Can't miss it. Got our hole lined up on this side. Instead of dicking around with it like that, let me try something else. But I've never had one of these apart, so just kind of learning as I go. Oh, so close to getting her in the hole. All right, let's try it doing it this way. There we go. Wish I could say that was fun, but it wasn't. So, mental note. When dealing with the spring like that, just go ahead and remove your hanger. Do yourself that favor. Get this circlip reinstalled. Circlip's back in. Got good spring tension. I might need to change my stop limit here. With no tension under here, it should default to the top gear. So if you're not, chances are it's your stop limit screw not allowing it. There we go. See, now this was set to when that hanger was bent. This is much better now. All right, let's put some tension back on here. I'm not going to put a lot of tension on it because this should be the default position. What sucks is it seems like my barrel adjuster here right here is completely seized up, so I can't really fine tune these adjustments. I honestly don't even want to get into this unless I absolutely have to. I mean, I may end up having to replace this cable, but hoping not. Look at that. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, you can do it. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Derailleur is good. We are good to go on the derailleur. Derailleur's done. I can move on to cleaning up this cassette and the chain outside, and I'll do that when it's not snowing outside. I'm pretty much wrapped up for the day on this. Alrighty, gonna go ahead and clean up this chain. Running a little low on degreaser. Hopefully this will be enough. I've never used one of these before. It's pretty damn simple. You snap it on and spin it. Best part about using this tool is it smells citrusy fresh. I would definitely recommend putting cardboard down or something to catch the slop that spews out of this thing as you do this. Woo! Looks like tar coming off of here. Alright, I think that's good for now. We'll do the rest. Get the rag. Wipe off this excess degreaser. Like I said, man, this stuff, do it outside or have something underneath your bike to catch that crap dripping off of it, because it's going to make a mess. Crazy mess. You're just going to wipe off all this excess shit. Probably let it dry after this for another day or two before putting any lube on it. It's a messy job for sure. I'll remove the wheel later to hit this with some foam cleaner outside and spray it with the hose. I wanted to see just how bad a shape this chain may or may not have been in. It looks pretty damn good. I see zero corrosion on this at all anywhere. This chain's pretty immaculate. I have a gauge to check it. I have a suspicion that it'll be fine, but I'll check that later. But as of right now, this chain looks fantastic, considering how old it is. Although it was a bit excessively lubricated, it preserved it well over time. Can't really complain about that. And we'll go ahead and let that degreaser dry up and evaporate, and then we'll go ahead and lube it. Okay, I just got her back from the bike shop, and I'll get into that in a minute, but I'm gonna go ahead and check this chain. I've got my furry assistant here. Do you mind? Do you mind? I'm trying to do something here. Thank you. Thank you. Space, personal space. Basically, you're gonna lock this in like so. My assistant is just bumping into me here. You just lock that in like that, and then you're going to check over here. And you can see the different notches here. It basically looks like that. And we are well in the okay range, just like I had suspected. Are you good now? Good God. Reason I had to take her to Dirt Rooster was the headset was loose, and when I tightened it up, the steering was getting locked. In other words, the crown race down in here, when this is loose, this whole thing is gonna rock back and forth, and you're usually in a straight position, so it hammers a indentation here into your crown race. And when the bearing rolls into it, it kind of drops down and locks it. Then as you turn your wheel this way, the next bearing is going to come around and lock into it as well. So it kind of freezes your steering, and you can feel it when you're riding around, and it's actually very annoying. They happen to have a new headset in stock, and they replaced the entire headset, not just the crown race. So it's good now. Andrew will be able to steer. Naturally, it hasn't rained for like 2 weeks, so the day that I go to pick it up is going to be the day that it rains, and it's going to be the day that my sump pump's going to turn on every 5 seconds. So I'm going to go through, dry it all off, and shine it back up. Not a big deal. But for the most part, she's done. I have nothing else left to do except maybe get a rack like that and like that, because we've got plans for this. Yes, we do.
Thank you very much for watching. If you were mildly amused, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Don't worry, we won't tell anyone you did.
Data transfer complete. Holographic imaging deactivated. Shutting down. Goodbye.